Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. We have good in abundance today, overflowing good. You're going to meet one of the most interesting, dynamic, expressive individuals in the entire world, and it's going to be better for you. And that's why you tuned in, by the way. You tuned in consciously and conscientiously to the Joy of Living podcast with your humble host, Barry Shore, for one reason only. It's a great reason, by the way, because you care the most in the entire world about you. YOU, which is great, by the way, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony. You create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. So it's wonderful. But I will tell you, you are joined at this very moment by, at this moment, 348,613 people around the world from almost every country in the world. We have people listening, choosing to listen to the Joy of Living. And the reason is because on this show, you know that we discuss the three fundamentals of life. And these three fundamentals are, number one, life has purpose. That's right. Your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number two happens. Now, in this case, a good number two. You go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental of life is to unlock and uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. A simple example. Right now, of course, this show is being carried over the internet. Throughout the world, ask anybody, what does www stand for? And invariably it has to tell you it has to do with the internet. Factually speaking, they're correct. In our world, however, the positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant world, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? WHATA. Whenever you hear the opening bars of that song that was brought to us by Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, and has gone around the world and touched not just tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. What do you do right away? You can't help but you smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you got to internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I'm back speaking with people in person, no mask. Thousands of people. Just spoke with a group, 1,173 people, not a mask there, lots of hugs, lots of interaction and such. And I'm telling the story about Barry Shore, and I'm talking about seeing miracles in life every day. And people raising their hands say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours, but I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. You have water to drink, you have food to eat, you have a place to sleep, you have family, your friends. Every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the simple proof? Simple as proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching this or listening to it, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, live life exuberantly, like our amazing guest that you're going to meet today. She is the essence of exuberance. So I just want to tell you a quick story. Imagine the following. Standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, that evening be in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. That's me. Not an automobile accident, not a spinal injury, a rare disease, which I never heard of the day before, took over my body and rendered me what's called a quadriplegic. Nothing in my body moved, my neck down, nothing. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home. I couldn't turn over by myself. 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, from my hips to my ankles, and that was progress. Thank God today I'm vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand, but I still can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. And I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of one word. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. I got to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over a few weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? And I thought about it. Smile sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. out of the mouth of babes, an 8-year-old. What was she doing though? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a wonderful acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Yes, thinking is the key. What we call neuro linguistic programming, but really it's you really knowing how to use your mind to the greatest way possible, because you're the key to life, right? It's all about you and how you think. You're going to learn now the 6 most important words that you can ever utilize, internalize, and leverage in your life. These 6 words are: choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will make all the difference in the world. Now, I got to warn you in advance that your humble host does use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it because of the shock value, and it's fun. Now, of course, we live in the world of positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Therefore, the 4-letter words we use are love, life, hope, free, gift, pray, play, swim, rain. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, yes. FU, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and friends, you have a twinkle in your eye and a smile on your face. Remember that stands for, point your finger and tell everybody, FU. But remember to add right away capital N, capital N. Say, where'd you get that? So I listened to Barry Shore on the joy of living. He wants to teach the world to FU. It's a good conversation. Now, before we bring on amazing Biljana, and she is truly amazing, I'm going to urge everybody to use the 2 most important words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously, from now and the rest of your life. You know why? Because it will help you, your family, your friends, and all living beings. And by the way, as a result, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. I guarantee it. Your money back. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. The Dalai Lama is quoted as saying, I read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. As he said, it's always possible. So imagine you go to the coffee shop and you order your fancy latte, you sit down, somebody brings it to you, you say thank you. You walk in the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte, a couple of minutes goes by, nobody brings it. You go to the counter and say, I'm sorry, we forgot, we're busy, we'll bring it to you. You sit down, a couple of minutes come by, somebody brings it, you still say thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining, and somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You're in traffic, you're late for an appointment, somebody cut you off. You say, thank you. You get up in the middle of the night and you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, thank you. To harmonize and network kindness. Kindness is a wonderful word that stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody in the planet that I want to ask to share noble deeds and inspire you than amazing, wonderful Biljana George. Biljana, please say hello to 359,722 people around the world.
Good morning, Barry, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are around these beautiful words.
Oh, so look at how I'm hoping that people are watching this, not just listening, because you're seeing, I told you, she's the essence of exuberance. That is who Biljana is. So we're just going to jump right in. If I start telling you all the things about Biljana, we'll take up the rest of the show. So what I'm going to urge everybody to do is just lean in and listen. You don't have to take notes even if you want, because everything about Biljana, Bilyana, is at my website, barryshore.com. www.whatawonderfulworld.barryshore.com. Everything about Biljana is there. So just lean in, let it flow through you and around you and into you, because she's going to enliven all of us with what she does. Biljana, we're going to just jump right in and talk about one of the most interesting phenomena in the world today. And it started obviously a few decades ago, and that's called TED Talks or TEDx Talks. It's all the same. It's the idea of a single person on a stage presenting ideas that make a difference, right? It's about mad people making a difference with their speech. And then literally millions, if not billions of people around the planet are listening. Now you have a unique situation, but let's just jump right in and talk about what or why. Let's use why. By the way, why stands for winners help wisely. That's who you are. You're a winner and you help other people wisely. Why are TED and TEDx the number one speakers platform in the world? How did that happen?
It happened, it started about 40 years ago, 38 to be exact. And the reason why was because at that time there was a huge need of people listening something they cannot hear on main media. There was no social media at that point in time, and there was that need to from one side people to hear extreme ideas, what they can put directly in their life or their business or what they do as technology or designing, as that is the original idea how they started with TED as acronym of technology, entertaining, and design. And that is still today. You still have so many people with absolutely amazing idea. You cannot hear them anywhere else. Yes, there is a social media, but in such a condensed way as TEDx, in a very short time. In a very amazing ambience and mood around. It's not just the speaker standing, but there is also the audience and how the audience also engage with the speaker, and vice versa, the speaker with the audience. You've seen, all of you, there's like the famous red dot carpet on the TED and TEDx stages. So ideas worth sharing is still huge in the world, and it's still number one in the world as the most respected stage to stand and speak on, and to share your wisdom, your inspiration, to motivate people, and to spread around the world what you have to say. And I always say this, like, TED and TEDx is a legacy. You create a legacy by doing your talk.
So let's unpack some of what you said, because I'm leaning in, I'm listening, I'm not taking notes, because she has just given us the distillation of one of the most remarkable situations to occur in the past few decades, which is TED. And as you said, first of all, it's an acronym. I love acronyms. That's the essence of our world: technology, education, design. And we'll talk a little bit after this about why TEDx happened and what the X stands for and such, the X factor. And you said something so fun, because 86% of our audience is under the age of 35, and almost by definition have never experienced a world without social media. Isn't that interesting? In other words, you can say the words, there was no social media then, but it's hard to understand. It's like saying, well, people actually did drive around London, where you live, in horse and buggy, very fancy ones and fancy horses. But hello, it's very rare these days. You can call one. I don't know, this Uber probably has a horse and buggy that you can call. But the point is that was the world, but that's not the world. So when you talk about the ability to be on a stage and engage an audience and recognize that it's a legacy because it's touching millions, again, the ability to have ideas worth sharing with millions of people, because what we need in life right now is that vibrational plane raised up. Matter of fact, love, you might like this, Biljana, love in my world of the acronyms stands for living on vibrating energy. Living on the vibrational plane, which is who you are. I mean, the essence of you, Biljana George, is that you do live in this vibrational process called TEDx. You're not just the word coach is, I think, overused. I think you're much more of a guide and a channel. Isn't that nice? You're a guide and a channel. So let's talk a little bit more about first of all, how did the TEDx process come in? What's the distinction between the two? Maybe there isn't anymore. Maybe there's just TED and TEDx are all the same. And when and why you think it's going to lose its power?
Yes. First of all, there are more than 17 formats. TED is one of them. Is the main flagship conference. It happens only once a year. It's 5 days. It's always in Vancouver, Colombia. It started when it started back in 1984. It was in California. It wasn't in Vancouver. The 5 days has 2 or 3 different simultaneous stages. So it's not just one stage and one speaker at a time. There are many stages. And during the TED conference, also there is a TED Fellows, which is happening as well. Usually there are about 20 TED Fellows per year. This year there were about 42, 43 TED Fellows, and they had their own stage. So in addition to the TED, in parallel, and the same building is happening also the TED Fellows. There's 17 formats, and I did a video specifically for that because it's so easy to be confused, like so many different formats. And what is so important is that if you, all of you listening, you want to become a TED or TEDx speaker, you need to know the different formats, because if you apply to the wrong one, then you're going to be rejected. And that's usually like what I don't want to happen with people, like getting rejected.
And by the way, let me just put you on pause for a moment. Everything you want to know about who Biljana is and what she offers, just go to my website, barryshore.com, because she has free information that is transformative. You see, information is very available anywhere, but what she's offering is transformative processes. So you really want to check it out. Just go to barryshore.com, because she makes a difference in the world. She's a mad woman, and it's wonderful. You got to know there's 17 different things in the fellows and such like that. So I wanted to interrupt so nobody has to write down, where do I want to go? Just listen to what she's saying. Let it flow around you, through you, and with you. So because she's lifting up the hundreds of thousands of people, and everybody's going to share with 5 people. So there'll be millions of people around the world who are going to be touched by what Biljana is saying. So we have the 17 format. We have the fellows. Actually, in today's world, we'll call it the Fellowship of the Rings. Okay, because Tolkien he keeps going on talking about legacy. So what is it about these fellows and the 17 formats and TEDx? What is that all about?
The TEDx started because the headquarters from TED wanted to be much closer to the local communities. And that's how the X started. Like we call it the X as a multi-power, but actually TEDx stands for independently organized TED events, which follow the same TED rules, but they're always happening everywhere around you. So if you go to TED.com and you go to attend, you go to TEDx events, you can see all the events happening wherever you are around this world. Literally, they're happening everywhere. There are more than 3,500 events per year right now, as TEDx specifically. They're amazing, but they also have different formats because they kind of mirror everything. What is TEDx mirrors what TED does. So be careful with those formats again, because if you go and you apply to the wrong TEDx format, then you might get rejected. I'm going to give you an example. There's a TEDx Women and TED Women. If you're a male person and you apply for TEDx Women and your audience is not a female audience, then most probably you're going to get rejected, because this is basically doesn't follow the TEDx Women rule. If it's a TEDx youth, youths are up to 20 or 21 years old. And like me and you, Barry, we're kind of about 20 years old. So we're going to get rejected because we're not youths anymore. And so don't waste time on trying to figure it out, from beginning. Indeed, go to barryshore.com website and go and watch. It's a very short video what I created for the different formats and how you can apply to TED and TEDx. What are the differences? And I gave you the shortcut there in a very short, condensed.
Right. By the way, I just want to make mention when Biljana says a short video, you have to understand, it's not just information, it's transformative. Because if you aspire to inspire people, you really want to have the best guide and coach in the world. And the genius of social media, or let's say the internet today, is that there is no such thing as geography anymore. I mean, everything is truly condensed. Whether you live in Uganda or you live in Gobi, in outer Mongolia, it doesn't matter anymore. As long as you have access to this remarkable platform called the internet, and you can speak the common language. Let's be blunt. English is the common language today. As much as the French don't want to admit it, English is the common language of the world and the internet, and therefore it behooves everybody to at least know how to communicate in English in a what we call a positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant way. If you can do that, then you can gain the attention of people. Remember what the point is, for their benefit, not yours. I want to make mention of something, and this I believe is one of the genius applications of Bilyana. See, Bilyana, her last name is George, but it really begins with G, it's genius. Bilyana genius, because part of her genius is that she is this unique, what I call a channel of goodness, a cog, a child of God, as it were. And she really helps people understand what's happening so that you can learn how to shift your perspective and many others. So let's talk about this just to understand something. Why do you think that TED and TEDx will lose its, we'll call power, its dominance in the world? Why do you think that will happen?
Yes, I believe it's going to happen, and I would give like 3 to maximum 5 years, for the fact that as TED is a non-profitable organization, at the moment they pay very little attention to social media and to the digital aspects of each of the videos. So sadly or happily, we live in the 21st century, and pretty much everything is run by social media. And social media also includes chats like WhatsApp and Messenger. So what we do right now has a metadata. I know I'm going to speak a little bit of a digital language, but there is a digital language behind everything what we do, regardless what you do, like just inspiring people, doing TED, or running a business, or even running ads. They all have this metadata behind, and the artificial intelligence, machine learning picks all this metadata. For YouTube, this is called search engine optimization. For Google, is also called search engine optimization, but they all based on data. That data with the different keywords. And at the moment, what I see is that sadly, TED at the moment, the headquarters doesn't pay that much attention, doesn't train their people to how to add that digital data to the different TED and TEDx talks, which basically automatically means that, think about it, the biggest moment in TED Live happened when they signed a contract with Netflix, which was in 2012, and then they went on YouTube. This is when TED and TEDx went really nuts, and they went like huge, because billions of people start having the opportunity to watch TED and TEDx talks, right? Right now, what happens? So 2012. This is what, like 10 years later. If we don't add this digital language, digital elements, basically you put a lot of amazing talks and amazing wisdoms in a bucket, but that bucket cannot recognize what is it about, who is the audience to watch this kind of talk. What is the wisdom about? What is the talk about? What's the topic? What is, what kind of people are going to be interested in that specific? The only thing what is the YouTube and Netflix recognize it by is by the title, and then it kind of lose the power. And that's why I kind of say, like, if TED does not pay attention to the digital elements, to add digital data to the talks, then it will lose the power at some point, because they are right now so many different stages as well. It's not anymore 40 years ago. There's so many different stages, and they are using the digital data. They are using YouTube, SEO language and AI language, and they've been watched by millions of people. So think about this. I have different statistics because my team literally goes on first of the month, every month. They go on YouTube because YouTube is the public platform where we can take all the data from. And this is where majority of the TEDx talks are published anyway. We take down a lot of data. We analyze this data. And I can tell you that from what I've seen, only about 1% of all the TEDx talks right now have this data attached to the video, which means that only 1% have these millions of views. And think from the other side. Like if you're a TEDx speaker and you put so much time and love and effort and all this attention to create that TEDx talk, and then your talk is going on YouTube, and because the organizers don't know they don't have the knowledge and technical information to add this data, then just this talk just is lost, in between so many other talks, sadly.
So you just ended on a very interesting word, sadly. Let's unpack some of what you just said. Here you have a breakthrough in life 40 years ago, which again, to most people listening, they can't even understand that. 40 years ago it's another century. Okay, but 40 years ago, there was a great breakthrough, an idea. And they said, ideas worth sharing. And it came all the way up to 2012, where at least somebody or some group in TED recognized, well, there's a thing called Netflix. We should join with them because they have lots of distribution. And now the intervening decade from 12 to 22 is when everything exploded in social media. And you're saying they either weren't, aren't, or not even capable of being prepared for the shift in perspective. I'm going to make you laugh out loud. You ready? Because I talked to, thank God, many tens of thousands of people about joy, happiness, peace, and love. By the way, joy stands for Journey of You. You like that? Journey of You.
Love it.
So I talk about a shift in perspective, and it's just a small thing to shift perspective. Well, when I speak to people, Biljana, for some reason, 99% of the people drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. You got to keep careful. You got to be careful about your F and Fs. It's shift perspective. Otherwise, you're going to end up like Biljana just said. Only 1%. I mean, it's hard for us to understand, people that are in the digital world. It's hard for us to understand that famous companies and leaders are not actively getting their hands dirty and turning over data and recognizing that it's this gorgeous field filled with loam, and plant seeds and things grow, and it's in the bucket, and therefore constrained instead of being out there. It's hard to hear that TED doesn't pay attention because TED stands for Technology, Education, Design. Duh. But in every organization, people lose their way if they become dominant. Take an example, Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix is still a very powerful company, let's be blunt, but it was, I think, the worst performing stock in last year, or in the past 2 years. In the past 2 years, the worst performing stock in the stock exchange. Why? Because there's so many competitors, they lost their way. So you said sadly, because everybody loves TED and TEDx, but it's not getting the love that it needs, right? Love, living on vibrant energy. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to have our short break because sponsors love us. And we urge people to always patronize the sponsors because they're wonderful. They support what you're hearing right now, which is joy, happiness, peace, and love from one of the most amazing people in the world, Biliana George. So we're going to break. We'll be right back after these brief commercials, and we'll be back with you. Don't go away. Buckle up because Biliana is going to give us much, much more on the other side of the breaks. Opportunity. What an opportunity. I'm going to use 2 4-letter words right now. Free gift. Free gift. Yes, you can have a copy of my best-selling book, The Joy of Living, How to Slay Stress and Be Happy, the ebook version for absolutely free. All you have to do is send an email to me, Barry, Barry, at barryshore.com, and in the heading, the subject line, just write free gift. It's as easy as that. This is a life-changing, life-enhancing opportunity. Barry at barryshore.com. You'll be glad you did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Free gift. Do it now. Take the action. Make it happen right now. Best wishes. Bye. Imagine the kind of place you would want to shop for your favorite fur baby pet. HonestPets.co. Well, you found it. HonestPets.co. Not .com, .co. This is your go-to spot for the best, the cleanest pet treats that exist anywhere on the planet. All of the brands go through a rigorous review to make sure they meet the high standards of cleanliness, health benefits, and naturalness. This site was started by a husband and wife team, and it's veteran-owned, and that care about pets, especially dogs and cats, and coming soon, bird treats. These are very nice young people who really care about making a difference because a portion of proceeds go to support veteran organizations with a focus on service dogs. This is the place where you want to go. You want to tell your friends this has the finest, yummiest, freshest, all-natural treats and stuff for your fur baby. So go there, honestpets.co. honestpets.co. Do it now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. And a being called Biliana George. She is one of the most remarkable beings on the planet today, involved with TEDx, and helping you know more about this and help maybe transform what you're doing because you want to be a TEDx speaker. You have an idea worth sharing, and that idea needs to be brought out to millions and millions of people. But you need to learn the techniques of how to do that. That is what Biliana does. That's what she teaches. That's what she transforms regular human beings like Barry Shore into a famous, not just famous because he wants to be famous, but legacy-inducing TED Talk speaker or TEDx speaker because he has ideas worth sharing. So let's take a look at this. Why are so many people, question for you, Biliana, why are so many people now shifting their life's attention towards these wonderful ideas of joy, happiness, love, and living in the now?
I think pandemic drastically helped that that moment of realizing that the way how we've been living so far, regardless if you worked in the corporate world or still working there, or you're an entrepreneur or anything what you've been doing, and I speak also with retired people as well. It drastically changed our life, and it kind of dropped that shyness, the shy element of I don't need to change my life. That was the thinking before 2020. We were kind of living in such a hypnotic state, I would say, as of doing the same things every day, and then I would say, as much as it sounds bad, but pandemic shake us in a very shake us drastically, but that was in a very positive way, because now people start questioning what is the destination in their life, what is the purpose in their life. Do they want to share more with the others around? Do they want to stand on TEDx stage and share what they learn, because they now value the life as a life itself, and value every day and the present moment, as you said. So the value, what we put right now behind life and behind our own value system, is much higher than ever before, than like 2 years ago. And what I see also, because I work with a lot of people who wants to stand on TEDx stage and deliver a talk, I always ask them, why do you want to do a TEDx? It's always something that happened, like a trigger in their life, that now completely shifted their attention, and not just having much higher value towards life, but really valuing what love means, what joy means, and what the now present moment means. If you think right now, I'm going to ask you a question. You went through such a tremendous pain, like physical pain and mental pain, when you had the GBS syndrome, right? Now, think about what you do right now, Barry. You do the podcast, you have your book, you have your charity, you have the amazing movement, Keep Smiling. If I now take you back to the moment when you woke up completely paralyzed, and I wipe off that part of your life, would you do that podcast right now if that didn't happen in your life?
So if you're asking Barry Shore personally, you're going to find an interesting answer. Because people ask almost all the time when I make a public presentation, were you always this way? So the simple answer is yes. The more important answer, and I think it's relevant to what you're saying, is I am exponentially more interested in touching millions, if not billions of people than I was before. Yes, I was outgoing. I was in joy, happiness, peace, and love. And then the good Lord touched me and said, Mr. Shore, I'm going to paralyze you for a while. I want to see if you can walk your talk. And I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. But yes, the point is, was I doing good? Exponential. So yes, I love what you said here, Biljana, about that 2020. It's so easy to make analogies. 2020, we talk about better vision, right? Coming out of the hypnotic state, as you say, and sharing with people. Now, SHARE is a wonderful acronym that stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy. That's what sharing is really about. And we need this on the planet today. And you're one of the, again, to me, you are the essence of exuberance, because what you're doing is you're saying, I know how to, with my hands, I'm making an analogy, if anybody can hear us now or see us, she's shaping a pot with clay, but really that clay is data or metadata. And she's shaping it into a magnificent vessel that can not only hold, but can serve others. You see, when you have a magnificent vessel and you pour into it, say, great wine. Well, the wine is not just to be in the vessel. The wine is to be shared, to help others, to spread the words that you're doing here. So yes, for me, I am now exponentially more involved with not just the idea, but the living of joy, happiness, peace, and love. So yes, and it's that shift in experience. So thank you for even asking. And again, we're touching right now hundreds of thousands of people, and I'm urging everybody, share this with 5 people. I didn't say 50 and 500. Yeah, that's great too. 5 people that you care about, because this is touching lives right now. That's how wonderful Biljana is. So let's ask you now, what's going on in the corporate world? We talk about shift, hypnotic. The corporate world, I think, was really shaken, right? Because people didn't have to do the commute anymore. They could learn another way of interacting. I don't know, better or worse, but let's not make the judgment yet. But it allowed an opportunity for people to grow. I think that's really something. So let's talk more about the corporate world from your experience, because you're involved.
Yes, I up to 2020, I had 19 years as a digital transformation director. I worked with 21 different industries, and I can share that that corporate world shaped for me as well, because I was one of the first people in London who caught COVID, and I was in bed for 2 months. And the moment when and that was my third near-death experience, and I was fighting for my life for so long time. But at some point when I managed to get up from bed and kind of feel human again and in my body, I asked myself, of course, like, what is next? What is really my life purpose, my own life purpose, and how I want to keep living? Literally, the day after, I realized that when I was sick in bed and I couldn't open my emails and check the news and any of those, I actually lost all my clients. So that complete shake is something what I've seen in so many people's lives. In my case, I decided to take it like in a very positive way and take it as a blank canvas. Like, my life is now a blank canvas and I can draw whatever I want. And that is when I shifted from being 19 years in digital, and people call me digital nerds for good reason, of course. But I shifted to become a TEDx coach because I wanted to help people to share their wisdom and create that legacy, but share that wisdom with the world. And really, my way to change the world to become a better place was through those people who are standing on TEDx and sharing their own wisdoms. So that was my way to really help the world. Now I'm selling my TEDx coaching business, and I'm shifting my attention to completely different, different but not that different, towards helping the world in a different way. But what I see, to go back to your question, what I see in corporate world is really beautiful. It's not beautiful when you're living it, like me when I lost all my clients and obviously incomes, and I had to completely change my life and rethink. That is not fun, I can tell you. But majority of the people manage to see that joy and that love through the physical pain, through the emotional pain and mental pain, and then ask themselves much bigger questions than how can I survive right now. And kind of the corporate world is moving into two places, like people who will definitely stay in the corporate world, and we do need you guys because you're amazing, and you make you make so many services and products what we use in our daily life. But there will be also so many people which are right now living the corporate world, having the gut to not know what's going to happen tomorrow, and still have that gut to take that path, completely different path, and take the risk to start working what they always wanted, what their intuition and internal voice is saying. And I love both of the ways, and I help both type of people to express and put in words what they experience, and share the experience with the world. So I see that the split in the corporate world. And again, what we were discussing with TED, but that happens with the TEDx world, because so many companies don't change and shift their attention to what is right now in 21st century, but also business-wise, but also what is important as value system for the company. They're gonna die as companies very quickly, and sadly, there are competitors which are gonna take over, and progress. But to finish in a positive note on this one, I really see it as an extremely amazing time to live right now, and everyone who is really following the internal voice and the intuition and deciding to just stay with that internal voice and follow it, that is going to create that magic, what you, Barry, is saying every time. You're gonna see miracles and smiles all the time. So just keep that joy and keep that love internally, and make that love and oneness to drive you, because that is so important.
Biljana, you are touching me very deeply, and I am speaking now for hundreds of thousands of people. I love some of these words. I wrote them down, even though I urged other people not to. I did. I wanted, because I want to unpack a few things here. That you mentioned about the word change, and I love this internal voice. I happen to like it much more than the word passion. People talk about passion. Okay, I prefer what you're saying here. I think it's far more real, far more personal, and it will stay longer. Passion can be dissipated. The internal voice is there all the time. It's been there since you were born. And I think about the letters IV, because again, for me, being in hospital for many, many months, so I was always fed with an IV and such like that. So I think of IV as life enhancing, but also the idea of being a patient. Well, it's good to be patient sometimes, right? Learning patience is a wonderful thing. That's why you have to be a patient. That's how you get cured. But I love the idea of IV. I'm going to work on some acronyms for that. I just want to mention to you, and you're absolutely, you talked about change. Well, there's a great saying in the business world, as we know, change is good. You go first. People don't like change, right? No. You do it. You do it. And let me know what it's like. Change is here. Change is to be embraced. Change is so important. And as you said wonderfully, you either innovate or you evaporate in business. You innovate and constantly learn more, learn about data, metadata, and all the different platforms and things that are happening. Yes, is it overwhelming? Can be, but that's why you ally yourself, A-L-L-Y, with remarkable people. Biljana, just find her on the website and learn about it. So obviously I'm intrigued, and I have to ask you, Biljana, well, what's next? You said you're shifting your business. Can you spill the beans, please?
I can say that I am wrapping up my TEDx coaching, so it's already wrapped up and it's for sale. But the next steps to help the humanity in the most beautiful way of replacing the dysfunctional systems with systems which work really well. I'm talking about like the health systems and the educational systems. I'm not saying like this is evolution. We are part of that evolution. I'm not saying like let's just change everything tomorrow, because that doesn't happen like this. Evolution means that we can create completely new style of systems, which people can choose which one to use, and then go for it and use it. So this kind of even in education and health, in both styles, there's different systems which have been existing for centuries, I would say. We call it alternative medicine, which is not anymore alternative, I would say.
No, right. Western medicine is the alternative. Okay, very good.
Exactly. It's just it's the way how all of us start really shifting very quickly our way of perceiving things in our life. Same for education. There are private schools, but these private schools are much better. Why? Because they're actually teaching completely different style of teaching, but also knowledge. because I would say, and I'm not saying something new, but our educational system it's so old that it wasn't touched for 100+ years. And it's time, especially right now, 2022, to start actually teaching ourselves and the kids to have completely different skills, because we can now see, and this is completely, like, it's a huge topic, of course, but we can see so many dysfunctional parts in different systems which are having a huge impact on our life, and we just need people to help shift those systems. And I will be so happy and proud to be part of this shift, I have to say.
And to be successful, because that's your essence. So you're talking about health and education, two of the most important aspects of the human condition. And especially when you're talking about, see, children are, we call them little people, but they're not. They're the future of the world. And it's really not just important, but vital that they are educated to be able to think and to choose. Remember, you just said that, to choose. So for parents also, to be able to choose the tracks that they would like their children to be educated on. As we said before, the 6 most important words you can ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Okay, you live here, you go to that school, that's the end of it, you go to your work. It was hypnotic. It's not the way. So the 2020, the lockdowns, the COVID shook the world. Now we're looking at it, because this is how we live, in the most positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant way. What is it that happened? What can we do with it? What can we do about it? How can I contribute? Because that's really the essence of life. What am I here to do? Remember, we said life has purpose. So wonderful, Biljana, you will be that engine. That little great book in America is a very famous book, the Little Engine That Could. I don't know if it's also famous in England or even in in Bulgaria, where you come from. But the Little Engine That Could is a very famous story, and that's really what it's about. Is that the ability to use that which you now have and know, and with determination to apply it, as you said, in the 2 most powerful aspects of the human condition: health and education. Biljana, we need you. We love you. You're so enlivening. This is wonderful. So I have 3 questions to ask you, wonderful Biljana. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Of course.
Oh, very good. Number 2, you have 80 seconds only to answer this question. 80 seconds.
Okay.
What is your most fervent desire?
It's my desire to help others.
And you do that every day.
I do.
I mean, every day. It's not as if you get up one time and say, well, gee, I don't know what to do. No, every day. There's not so much as a day off. See, in the life of the energetic, exuberant Biljana, and thank God people that she touches like Biljana, we don't do days off. That's not us. We are days on, because we know that that is how the machinery works best. Yeah, sometimes we are a little less, sometimes a little more, but the point is we're never off. We're always sharing, giving, and channeling. And number 3, may I give you a hug in front of 362,822 people around the world? Wait a minute. I'm going to tell you what HUG stands for. Ready? HUG stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. So on count to 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you for the giving.
It is so wonderful.
Appreciated and accepted.
You are so wondrous Biljana George. Again, just go to barryshore.com. There's so much you want to know about what she does, who she is, how it transforms you. Remember, because you only care about you. That's why you tuned in to The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore. And no matter how interesting barriers, even Biljana, it's all about you. Y-O-U, you becoming the best you possible, because you're the best you make the world a better place. Remember, we work with 3 fundamentals of life. Number 1, your life has purpose. Number 2, you lead a purpose-driven life, you go mad, you make a difference. Number 3, unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms like WWW. What a wonderful world. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. As my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, causing rethinking, like Biljana is teaching us, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Use 4-letter words: love, life, hope, grow, free, reign, path, swim, pray, play. 4-letter, and teach the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. After the show, people say, what'd you learn? I said, I get this crazy guy. He wants to teach the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. Then you talk about Biljana and transforming with data, metadata, and all the things that are happening right now. Now is the best time in the history of the world to be alive. That doesn't mean just sit there. It means be alive. Bring forth the best you. That's what she's talking about. Remember, IV, inner voice. Let it ring out. Let it be expressed who you are. And learn how to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously, from now and the rest of your life, because it will make you happier, healthier, and wealthier. We guarantee it. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. To harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Therefore, be kind always. Keep inspiring noble deeds. That's what Biljana does every single day. That's what I try to do every single day, and it's for you. So our blessing to you is go forth, live exuberantly like Biljana. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Biljana, please don't go away, okay? 1 second.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.